let's check our settings and we should be good to go. Okay, 1 second here. Been a little tricky day this morning. We're going to be looking at a game called Dear Esther Landmark Edition. And I just want to check some settings real quick, because I was trying to broadcast Firewatch this morning, but unfortunately it wouldn't work for me. It wouldn't let me broadcast it. Every once in a while there's a game where it's just like, nope, you can't broadcast. Give me just 1 second and we'll be looking at this bad boy. I just want to check some settings real quick. Always recommend checking your settings, making sure everything says the right stuff. Alrighty. It's always nice to see some people have resubscribed. Thank you very much, subs. We couldn't do this without you awesome individuals. Thank you so much. Let's check the settings and we should be good to go. As I thought. Well, let's go to Playing and Dear Esther. Okay, well, hopefully that takes care of that. And let's get started. Now, I know that Dear Esther was originally a game like out years ago, and that it's done by the Chinese Room. They made another game that I just loved last year on PlayStation, which was called Everybody's Gone to Rapture. So I'm excited to see what they did here, because they usually set up really atmospheric and beautiful games. Let's take a peek. Options. Video. I want's brightness. Field of view. Yeah, I'm quite sure what that means, but we're going to raise the brightness for my blindness. Raise the brightness for my blindness. Take a look at the controllers here. Okay. Audio looks good. Alright, let's go. Hey, Blue Nose, good morning to you, buddy. The Lighthouse, huh? Looking at Dear Esther today. I had plans to broadcast Firewatch, but unfortunately it wouldn't let me. So I said, well, you know, I picked this game up the other day. Let's check it out.
Dear Esther, the morning after I was washed ashore, salt in my ears, sand in my mouth, and the waves always at my ankles, I felt as though everything had conspired to this one last shipwreck. I remembered nothing but water, stones in my belly and my shoes, threatening to drag me under to where only the most listless of creatures swim.
Ocean. I don't know. You know, I've never played it. Usually, though, with the Chinese Room, from what I've experienced, it's more of like you're searching for a story, kind of like Myst. You know, it's more of a tale being told. I mean, I think that it's more of like a mystery. It's definitely atmospheric. I mean, like, you look at these clouds and stuff moving in the background, they're definitely nice. Yeah, okay, what do we got here? A lighthouse? So your guy seems to... Whoa, somebody needs to get in there and clean that. Your guy seems to have woken up on a mysterious island after a wreck. Atherdine history. Interesting. Doesn't look like anybody's been in this lighthouse in a really long time. Yeah, I would say it's more of probably like a mystery genre. I mean, it's made by the Chinese Room. What we got here? Those guys did that awesome game, Everybody's Gone to Rapture. It doesn't look like we'll be able to traverse that way. Oh, we got like a little zoom button too to make it a little more hyper detailed. Hey, good morning, Dan Lee. How you doing, bud? So it seems like you've just kind of come ashore, and then your guy had like a little narrative. Looks like there's a path this way and a beacon out there. I say we head towards civilization. When in doubt? Oh, it looks like we got two paths here. You know what it reminds me of? You know, actually walking along the beach. Like if you listen, the sounds they've done with this, they've really captured the wind and the sound of the water lapsing on the waves. I think that's pretty sweet. Oh, thanks, Don Berto. I'm humbled, bud. I want you to have a really good day. We're looking at a game called Dear Esther. This is the definitive edition, and it released just a few days ago here on Xbox. Now, I remember... Whoa. Looks like we're... Well, I don't know. I don't think we're going to make it across... Oh, I guess we did. Okay. For a second, I thought we were going to fall down there.
The legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
It's interesting. Okay, well that's great to hear, bro. Glad to hear that your dad's okay after the op. So it looks like there's going to be like a narration with this game as you play it. Whoa. Again, the visuals are beautiful. Okay, so that looks like we're going down the one path. I think this is kind of like an explorative title, you know, for you to kind of take what you get out of it. I mean, I don't know. Some of like tentacle monster might jump out and eat my face, but I don't know. The one of my favorite games these guys did though was Everybody's Gone to Rapture. That was a really good game. Hopefully I don't break my cankle coming down this. Alright. Cankle seems to be protected. Or if we can wade out in the water. Whoa, look how the shelf drops off right there. Great white come up and snack on this guy. Crab trap. Or a lobster trap. The atmosphere they captured in this is pretty awesome.
There was once talk of a wind farm out here, away from the rage and the intolerance of the masses. Wind farm? The sea, they said, is too rough for the turbines to stand. They clearly never came here to experience the becalming for themselves. Personally, I would have supported it. Turbines would be a fitting contemporary refuge for a hermit. The revolution and the permanence.
I think that the voice acting is spot on. I mean, like... at this. Somebody made that. The level of detail is really stunning, too. Hey, good morning, Brian. It's got a beautiful score going.
Dear Esther, I found myself to be as featureless as this ocean, as shallow and unoccupied as this bay, a listless wreck without identification. My rocks are these bones, and a careful fence to keep the precipice at bay. Shot through me caves, my forehead a mount. This aerial will transmit into me so. All over exposed, the nervous system, where Donnelly's boots and yours and mine still trample. I will carry a torch for you. I will leave it at the foot of my headstone. You will need it for the tunnels that carry me under.
Over here. Oh, yeah. Oh, car door. All right, so there's the tires. Somebody wrecked their truck or something. Wow, I don't know if I'm going the right way. I hope I am. Don't drown, Chef. If I did, I want to live. Can he swim? Oh, he can swim. Or maybe not. Maybe he's got to swim by looking up in the path of the... No. Did I get myself drowned in the lake? Well, we're going to have to backtrack here. I don't see a path through. Nice, Star Trek warrior. That's awesome, buddy. It seemed like we were being led kind of like along this path. And then it kind of ends here. So let's make sure we can't go up anywhere here. I don't know if our guy's got billy goat legs on or what. Good morning, Navy Warmonger. How you doing, bud? It looks like it's a backtrack. This game's definitely different, you know? We missed a ladder or rope or something. Hey, name's the 1K. How you doing, bud? Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Look at right here, guys. This is what we need right here, because we came around the beach. Okay, here we go. Ah. Some kind of feeling. Well, somebody came and made this stone wall, you know, and built the lighthouse originally. Oh, man, Horizon 3, Friday, brother. Gonna be rocking that bad boy. I'm gonna be driving as best I can. Okay, so now we're back on this mountain path. The visuals are off the
Donnelly's
chain.
book had not been taken out from the library since 1974. I decided it would never be missed as I slipped it under my coat and avoided the librarian's gaze on the way out. If the subject matter is obscure, the writer's literary style is even more so. It is not the text of a stable or trustworthy reporter. Perhaps it is fitting that my only companion in these last days should be a stolen book written by a dying man.
You have full control of your camera too, so like if you want to look in any direction, that's...
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence...
Pretty rad narration going.
With its hosts. My lines are just for this. To keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
What is making all that noise? Well, it's a garbage truck. I was like, dude, what's out there making sounds like a tank coming down the street? Alright, here we go. Hey, look down there. It's like set stones. You know, Dan, I've always wanted to see Stonehenge, bro. That's one thing I want to do when I come to the mighty UK is see Stonehenge. When I was a kid, I used to marvel at like how they did that. And then we had a really awesome teacher in our history class, Mr. Seppi, and he actually took us out.
Fearing people, those shepherds. There was no love in the relationship. Donnelly tells me that they had one Bible that was passed around in strict rotation. It was stolen by a visiting monk in 1776, 2 years before the island was abandoned altogether. In the interim, I wonder, did they assign chapter and verse to the stones and grasses, marking the geography with a superimposed significance that they could actually walk the Bible and inhabit its contradictions?
Asking some deep questions, man, and definitely it's got some interesting writing to it. You don't really see games like this much anymore. It kind of nowadays, you know, like explorative games. Beautiful that is. They did a great job on their rendering. Where all the tanks and mates. Yeah, all of a sudden I heard like brrr.
Dear Esther, I met
Whoa,
Paul.
Shipwreck up ahead.
I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to
drinking
connect
coffee right
to
now.
one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us,
There's another lighthouse.
Any conceivable boundary of life.
I think what this game is doing is kind of, looks like we have two paths now. One maybe back that way, and one into the cave. But I think what this game's kind of doing is like setting up
I threw my
like
arms wide, and the cliff opened out before me, making this
mystery.
rough home.
Whoa.
I transferred my belongings from the bothy on the mount and tried to live here instead. It was cold at night, and the sea lapped at the entrance at high tide. To climb the peak, I must first venture even deeper into the veins of the island, where the signals are blocked altogether.
Wow.
Only then will I understand them, when I stand on the summit and they flow into me, uncorrupted.
Interesting. That's a great tidbit, Brian. Definitely his voice acting is very, very good. Wow. So I've seen that. That almost looks like letters, like H, then C, then O, then H, and an alignment. You don't much see games like this anymore. Somebody made those drawings. Yeah, that's what I would say. I would definitely say it's an exploration mystery game. You know, they've rendered a really pretty world. Okay, so that's the lighthouse that we were in at the start, I think. So it looks like this path now. Morgan Freeman, for sure, brother. Like Seth MacFarlane says, can I sleep on a pillow of your voice? Oh yeah, Morgan Freeman is legend, man.
The vegetation here has fossilized from the roots up. To think they once grazed animals here, the remnants of occupation being evidence to that. It is all sick to death. The water is too polluted for the fish, the sky is too thin for the birds, and the soil is cut with the bones of hermits and shepherds. I've heard it said that human ashes make great fertilizer, that we could sow a forest on all that is left of your hips and ribcage, with enough left over to thicken the air and repopulate the bay.
It's got a beautiful score. The score, the voice acting, it's very atmospheric. It's a pleasure to take you guys through here on Dear Esther, you know? Units chemistry. I don't think we can do anything with it. Doesn't look like it. Maybe another path up this way. And another path to the left here. So let's check left. Actually, let's get a view up here up top, and then we'll come back and go left if up top doesn't pan out. I mean, it's like there's nothing really like guiding me other than myself on this. Oh, okay, so maybe we can't make it up this way. Yeah, looks like this path. It's beautiful, though. Yeah, our teacher, though, he took us out back in the day, and we dug holes and erected, like, wood logs. And he was showing us how, like, we were using gravity and leverage to raise up the trees that were like a lot heavier than the muscle we had in 6th grade. He was a great teacher, Mr. Seppi. You know, you always remember those really good teachers. Showed us a lot of interesting stuff. He you know, when he was teaching us, he would ask as many questions as he would give answers to, you know, and he'd always get your mind wondering about things. I had a science teacher like that too, Mr. Pascal. He's an amazing science teacher. Okay, so it looks like once we go this way, we're committed to going this way. Oh, okay. Something's going on. We got a loading screen. Good morning, everybody. Glad to see you guys here. Hey, an achievement. Got a 50-pointer.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off to Sanford and the welcome break services. But although I can always see it in my rearview mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
He was talking about, like, driving. No worries, Don Berto. Have a great day, bro. He was talking about, like, being on a freeway. I think in the UK. Okay, so it looks like we got a path left. And we've got a path right here. Is that somebody flashing a beacon out at us? Look out there. That might be a buoy. Or it could be a person. But I think it's a buoy. Or like a signal. I gotta remember, I got a left path. Yeah, man. Yeah, Blue Nose was the first guy in chat today. He's been in our chat a lot lately. Very appreciative. Very appreciative to always have great viewers. Blue Nose, you're awesome, bud. We appreciate you, man. Wow. Looks like a freighter got broke apart here. Let's check over to the right over here first. Now this game's $7 US too, guys, so it's not like it's a major investment or anything. I was like, well, you know, let's go ahead and add it to the collection. And for $7, you know, I'm gonna let them, you know, do whatever they want in their game. You know, and just kind of get the... Yeah, that is a buoy. Or is that a person? That's a buoy. For a second, it almost looks like somebody standing out there going like, help! Captain! You're a bad boat captain!
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
Oh, over there. There's writing on the boat. I think this is where this path ends, too. Let's make sure. Oh, and right here. Yeah, that's the end of that path. So it seems kind of like a game that you basically can explore around, you know, and make up your own mind on what the story is so far. He's definitely got something going on where he's like talking to Esther, and he's like, "Dear Esther," like he's writing in a journal, but he's talking about things that aren't here. Like he was talking about a freeway and a turnoff. When I was a kid, I loved playing Myst. I was always like trying to figure out what was going on. Well, at least he's got lots of material if he's shipwrecked, you know. All right, I'm going to erect my cabin over here with these timbers. Got life preservers over there. I always think like, oh yeah, okay, so we're getting closer to this beacon, it looks like. There's got to be something about this beacon. It's like the path is...
Donnelly's voyage here was as prosaic as it was presented. How disappointed not to have found the bones of the holy man. No wonder he hated the inhabitants so. To him they must have seemed like barnacles mindlessly clinging to a mercy seat. Why cling so hard to the rock? Because it is the only thing that stops us from sliding into the ocean.
You look way out
Into
there, you can
oblivion.
see another island. Okay, so it looks like our path can go back that way. Let's see what goes this way first, too. Okay, so this is the end of this path. You can definitely see islands out there. Gorgeous. George Stanley, I've been cooking for over 20 years, bud. My last professional chef job was at the Star Ranch in Riverside. I was their executive chef for 2 years before it closed. The owner sold the property and retired. It was an awesome job. I've worked everywhere over the country, from east to west coast. I've worked in Puerto Rico. I'm classically trained in French cuisine, but I like to do American and Spanish infusion nowadays, using a lot of like ingredients from Asia. It's pretty awesome. You get to my experience of cooking and you basically just, let your mind ride. Been doing a lot of stuff with seaweed lately. I really like nori. It's definitely an awesome superfood. And welcome to the broadcast, George Stanley, by the way. I now work here on Twitch television. I also work as an executive assistant for exclusive yacht charters. Ultimate Fishing, too. My dad's a partner with the firm. It seems to be a dead end. Seems like if you... Oh, nice. It seems like if they bring you to like a dead end, it's like you're supposed to backtrack, like you missed a path or something. That's what I've noticed with this. So let's try going right here. That's awesome, Disturb Skill. What's my favorite meal to cook? Well, it depends who I'm cooking for. But if my favorite food to eat is Japanese food, I spend all my time, like, if I go out to a Japanese restaurant. If I'm going to have somebody cook for me. And let's see. So maybe that path snakes up the hill this way. And if I had a favorite dish to cook right now, I like doing paella. Been doing a lot of paella lately. Beautiful different pieces of fresh seafood, everything from crab legs, mussels, clams, then on top of some beautiful saffron rice. I find the dish complex, aromatic, and also very satiating. Yeah, it's definitely different, bro. I think we missed a path maybe this way that goes up the hill. It looks like there's a path up that way. Kitchen Confidential, that's awesome, man. I think one of my favorite cookbooks that is available that you can get anywhere is definitely The French Laundry by Thomas Keller. We were going to look at a game called Firewatch today, guys, but unfortunately I wasn't able to broadcast it. Every time I went to broadcast it, it said unavailable. Not sure what that's about. I got an email out to Twitch. Hopefully in the next couple days we can take a look at it. I don't know. It looks like they've... They've given us two paths that both have ended. Oh, bro. Okay. With sushi, and if you're worried about raw fish and stuff, what I recommend is when you go there, if you do go, find a place that does teriyaki and teppanyaki and tempura, and basically tempura is a fry, like picture like a fish fry, like fried tempura shrimp, and you're going to have it in like panko, which is a little bit gentler of a breadcrumb, but it's completely cooked, bro. So like a lot of my friends are like, "What? I ain't eating raw fish. No way." But you get a little tempura in them, and they love it. And then teppanyaki, which is one of my favorites, is basically like little dumplings, balls of fish, chicken, and the chef maneuvers them very deftly with his skill. And you kind of like eat them off a toothpick, but they're completely cooked through too. So it looks like our only path at this point is back down this way. And that's a great question. My favorite meal to cook. I like doing meatloafs and stuff, but it gets me sad when I make something anymore and I don't eat it, Lately I've been trying to watch like my weight a lot and my cholesterol a lot, so I did a bacon wrapped meatloaf not too long ago, and we only ate a couple slices of it. Whoa, I thought that was a trap for a second. Now I'm wondering here. A little goat path up this way. Oh, it doesn't look like it.
I had kidney stones, and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Okay, so either the path is this way down here, or it's back up here right here. Oh, agreed, Drac Rats, and welcome to the broadcast. No, it's always about expanding your horizons, and, sushi can seem intimidating, and if you have a bad experience with it, it might turn you off to it forever. So I always recommend, looking like at apps like Yelp or different areas. Okay, so we definitely got some multiple paths here.
I began my ascent on the windless slope of the western side. The setting sun was an inflamed eye squeezing shut against the light shone in by the doctors. My neck is aching through constantly craning my head up to track the light of the aerial. I must look downwards, follow the path under the island to a new beginning.
Wonder if this guy's like dead, and he's like exploring somewhere. Such an interesting universe. I love things that make us think and inspire thought. The world is so amazing. You as beings are amazing. It's easy to get caught up in all this stuff nowadays and just to forget how amazing and mysterious the world is and how many questions there are.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jacobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming
Silver Arrow
would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it.
I'm not sure. I would say
cliffs
it's a mystery style game. An explorative style game. It's obviously telling a tale. This man wakes up and it's got this beautiful narration where he's kind of like almost keeping a monologue, but he's referencing things in the future and he's referencing things in the past at the same time, which is interesting. I don't think we're going to go that way. Let's check up here.
My heart is landfill. These false dawns waking to the still never light. I sweat for you in the small hours and wrap my blankets into a mass. I have always heard the waves break on these lost shores, always the gulls forgotten.
It's the second time I've seen this book. The history of
Aberdeen music.
It looks like Aberdeen history. Interesting. Well, he's got a bedroll, you know. It might be old and moldy, but that's the first living thing I've seen right there, that bird. What do we got right here? You know, Drac Rats, I wanted to play it today, but unfortunately it wouldn't let me broadcast it. Sometimes certain games, like the developers don't allow like broadcast, or it's just not ready yet. We'll see if in the future it allows us to. It's definitely different, you know. It's moody and atmospheric. I don't think there's going to be any like fighting or anything in this game. I think it's simply an explorative game.
He left his body to the medical school and was duly opened out for a crowd of students 21 days after his passing. The report is included in my edition of his book. The syphilis had torn through his guts like a drunk driver, scrambling his organs like eggs on a plate. But enough definition remained for a cursory examination.
Whoa.
And, as I suspected, they found clear evidence of kidney stones. He's likely to have spent the last years of his life in considerable pain. Perhaps this is the root of his laudanum habit. Although its use makes him an unreliable witness, I find myself increasingly drawn into his orbit.
Wow, it's like this guy just talked about having kidney stones himself, and now he's talked about another man that died of infection in the 1700s.
Early spring, the thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. All around him, small flowers were reaching for the weak sun. The goats had adjusted happily to life without a shepherd and were grazing freely about the valley. Donnelly reports they hurled the body in fear and disgust down the shaft. But I cannot corroborate this story.
It's pretty cool. What's up, N7 Enzo? How you doing, bud? The narration, you know, basically what I'm seeing is this is a $7 game. It's about 1.8 gigs. Now, it's made by the Chinese Room guys. It's a remake that they've done of a game from 2007, and it's obvious that they put considerable energy into rendering this world. It's very atmospheric, and I believe it's telling a tale of this man who's mysteriously wound up on this island, and it's kind of for you to like get what you get out of the atmosphere. For me, when I look at it, I kind of look at this island like a paradise. You know, I've never had a problem like being like a lighthouse watchman or something. I think I could do that job because I've never had a problem with solitude.
I fell and have injured my leg.
Oh, you know what? I'll try to put some subtitles on in. So that's a great question. Let's check that out. Closed captions disabled. Large captions enabled.
It is clearly infected.
Huh. Did I do that right? Audio, large captions enabled. Closed captions. So it seems like crosshair field of view.
Turned a bright, tight pink, and the
I don't think there are.
Waves, winter tides
looks like where you live, Drac Rats.
The ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The
Maybe we should
supplies
check
I
that
looted from the
cave.
trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
It's kind of like almost wondering, has this guy died? And is this something like he's remembering? Looks like the path's going to end right here. We're going to have to go back to that cave behind us. Whoa. Yeah, no, we always... Oh, Wales? Shout out. You know, my family's actually, on my mom's side, the Huddlestons are actually from Wales. They came over to America like 300, 400 years ago. I always joke that they were hanging on the side of the Mayflower. There's still Huddlestons in Wales, too. I'll have to visit them. I mean, I've never met them. My grandma went back there like 30 years ago. It'll be interesting. I have to find out more about the fam. Into the belly of the earth, like Odysseus. Who left this lantern? Is that a lantern? Is that a candle? Okay, so that tells me there's somebody else around here. Unless this guy lit this, but a candle like that's not going to last more than just a couple hours. Maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe 6, depending on what the... Whoa, whoa, whoa! Ooh. I just got a 100-point achievement. I tell you one thing, guys, the game's definitely nice on achievements.
Did Jakobsen crawl this far?
Okay, there it goes. Looks like the
Identified
things are coming up now.
his nails ruined into the rocks.
Looks like it just needed to
By
load.
following him cell for cell, inch for inch. Why did he turn back on himself and not carry through to the ascent?
It's beautiful. How was Recor? Really good in 7 Enzo. There's a cave in Mexico. It's called the Crystal Cave. It's very deep in the earth. It's one of the deepest caves that man's explored. And it's so hot, and they go in there, and it's crystals that are 20 feet long. It's amazing if you've never seen it. Totally worth looking up. And you can just type in Mexico's Crystal Cave, and I'm sure you can find a broadcast about it on Nat Geo or on YouTube. But, I mean, it's amazing. Scientists are exploring it. I've always liked explorative games. Take me for a ride. Tell me a tale. Okay, so it looks like we got a back path that way. And somebody put a candle right there in the middle of this.
Direction. No other exit from this motorway. Speeding past this junction, I saw you waiting at the roadside, a one last drink in your trembled hands.
It's got a beautiful score. This game's got a beautiful score. Hey, friends, also, you know what? Let me get you up my YouTube link. So we're going to put this on our YouTube, so you'll be able to see the entire broadcast if you have any questions or curious about it. Let me get my old thing here. There we go. And here is the YouTube, if you'd like to follow us on there. Yes, the subtitles are on now. I think it just needed to load between the chapters, Enzo. I'm always happy to put those on, and thank you for reminding me, bud. gonna find like pirate treasure down here in a second. Arr! Avast ye, landlubbers! It is I, One-Eyed Willie. Har har. Uh-oh. Well, Geronimo! I thought I might die. Anything under the water? I don't know if I could explore caves. When I was a kid, me and my cousins would do a lot of exploring. You know, we'd go hiking out in the mountains and stuff, and we went into some deep caves. One time we went into this cave, and there were all these there's all these like pots and arrowheads and stuff. It was really cool. My Uncle Rick helped us find it. We found it in the hills of Laguna. And it was crazy because my uncle, like, he called up, like, the local police, and then the police brought in some university students. And it was actually, like, some Indians that were coastal Indians in California here. Which makes sense. There were lots of coastal tribes. But it was just kind of wild, you know. We climbed up behind their house for like, maybe 2 hours into the hills and found the place. This is beautiful. Very beautiful. I would say what I think Dear Esther's about is like what you take out of it as the adventure and the mystery of who, like, are you alone on this island? Why are you there? You know, like, to me it almost seems like this guy's dead and he's making a journey. Every once in a while you see like a little red tip rock. I hope they bring Everybody's Gone to Rapture to Xbox.
Through my own body, following the line of infection from the shattered femur towards the heart. I swallow fistfuls of painkillers to stay lucid. In my delirium, I see the twin lights of the moon and the Ariel shining to me through the rocks.
You know, Mr. Private Pappy, it looks like this is mostly an explorative game, bro. No, I haven't made a club yet, Enzo. I'm not in the preview program, bro. I will when the preview program, when the update brings it to all the regular. Okay, so we might have another path over that way. But I would say that the purpose of this one, Mr. Private Pappy, is an explorative title. Seems like up is the way to go, so let's kind of look around while we're down here. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate your time, bud. Yeah, no problem. I would love to make a club, and we definitely will. Before I go up, I want to definitely search this area out. Oh, look at these crystals. It's kind of like what we were just talking about a second ago. That's man-made. Somebody carved those marks in there. You don't much see games like this very... Yeah, this is an exploration game, John. You know, we were going to look at Firewatch this morning. That's what I had initially planned to broadcast, but unfortunately, it wouldn't let me. And still, I'm glad that, you know, I had Dear Esther here as a backup. I was going to play this on the weekend. I was like, well, you know what? We'll go ahead and play Dear Esther now. and look at it in the broadcast. Looks like this path's going to end right here. Seems like kind of if you explore it out, you might open up a narrative chain. Whoa. We're flowing now. Go against the tide. I think we can we four-wheel out of this? Maybe. Yeah, there we go. The bowels of the earth into the belly. I want to go over and look over at that wall and see if that's carvings. Oh, Dan Lee's not just an excellent mod, he's an excellent friend. I'm humbled by the mod's help. See, look at that. It's like a human in a circle. Just want to see this one last mark over here, and then we're going to take the path up. Almost like a squid. Okay, so that looks like that leads us back. So the path up is the path we go. Out of the earth. Back to the light. The Chinese Room, who redid this game, they made a game on PlayStation called Everybody's Gone to Rapture. We actually broadcasted it in our channel back when we were doing games on PlayStation last year, and it was really well done. They really know how to set an atmospheric game. Well, it looks like it's time for us to go up. Yeah, John, this game's $7 US. Oh, Dan, bro. Bro 5, my friend. I think that a thing that a lot of us share in common is the love of games. And, you know, I'm going to be 38 years old next month. And, like, when I see a game like this, it takes me back to playing, like, Myst. And just most recently playing Valley, which was an interesting explorative game. Perilous stalagmites. Wow. Alright, we got two paths, it looks like. I think the path on the left might be the way we're going.
Shaft they threw the goats into. It cannot be the landfill where the parts of your life that would not burn ended up. It cannot be the chimney that delivered you to the skies. It cannot be the place where you rained.
Grab a little more coffee, guys. I'll be right back.
Fertilize the soil and make small flowers in the rocks.
I am a coffee nut. Whoa. So we still have a path behind us, too. You know, I like anything, John, that really takes my mind for a ride. And I got to say, they've done a really good job with this. You know, it's made me like, just think about what I have and where I'm at, and wow. It's got an awesome score. How much see games like this? Now that's like plant roots. Okay, so we got a path under the water there. I want to see where that path led back behind us. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for stopping by in 7 Enzo. You know, guys, whether you hang with us for a minute or you hang with us for 5 hours, it's always up to you guys, you know. We always appreciate seeing you, and it's always nice to chat with you guys and definitely talk about games and talk about anything you guys would like, man. I want to just see where this other path goes. You know, I'm one of those guys that really likes to explore stuff out. I like to see what it's all about. See, so it keeps coming back kind of to like that drawing, and almost like there's a word there, like Damascus. Behold Damascus. It seems like that says behold Damascus and then something else. Well, okay, behold Damascus is taken. That's what I can read out of that. Behold Damascus is taken. Now Damascus, that's the capital of Syria, if I'm not mistaken. We get Nemesis fitted here. He always asks me the capitals. I just want to check this other little path that was right here. Oh, okay, so it looks like that's not a path. Alright. A hint of a path. Okay, so we're on the right track. I'm great, the meta. How you doing, bud? I'm exploring a game right now called sorry, it's Esther and it's definitely got me like what? Hey, there he is. I was just talking about you, buddy. Yeah, I would think so. That was interesting. Nemesis, I was literally just talking about you a second ago about asking me capitals. That's funny. Good morning, my friend. Shout out to Finland. I saw these guys from Finland the other day on Ridiculousness. They were called like the Dudesons, and they were crazy, bro. They were so funny. The one guy stripped off all his clothes and chased Rob Dietrich around naked. It's like this is how we do it in Finland. Oh man. What? How snow fit in last time? Whoa. Okay, so it looks like we're going in. Let's get a good breath of air. Here we go. I don't know how people free cave dive, man. I would be scared. That would scare the heck out of me. Whoa! Whoa! Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Damascus was the capital of Syria. Whoa. Look at this. What the? Maybe this guy did die. This was like the car. Oh, Snowflake? Yeah, I kind of remember a person in here named Snowflake. Wolverhampton? Okay. Well, shout out to our friends over in the mighty UK, man. Definitely been very atmospheric. Yeah, oh my god. So we got a 150 point achievement right there, guys. So this game's definitely... I've got about 300 points so far on it. It's definitely very achievement friendly. Okay, Recore? Yeah, I remember Snowflake. Yeah, Snowflake was nice. Okay, so it looks like we got 2 paths, guys. Yeah, the Dudesons, they were funny, man. They were like doing all sorts of pranks on each other. Wow. Look at that. Like playing a painting.
I sat here and watched 2 jets carve parallel white lines into the sky. They charted their course, and I followed them for 21 minutes until they turned off near Sanford and were lost.
Right there.
If I were a gull, I would abandon my nest and join them. I would starve my brain of oxygen and suffer delusions of transcendence. I would tear the bottom from my boat and sail across the motorways until I reached this island once again.
Dear Esther has had an interesting... No worries, Lucky Dan. I want to look over this way before we go the path with the light. I want to look over there at that. Yeah, no worries, Lucky Dan. Always visit us however you like, bro. I just, when you guys visit us, I hope that you have a good time on our stream and stuff. Ooh, Taipei. Taipei, Nemesis. I've been there, brother. Oh, cool. Well, shout out to your fiance, bro. The heavens, the stars. I've been reading so much about space lately, man. God, I love to think. Okay, so it looks like this path just leads over here. We get a little look at this. What does it mean? Beautiful score on the game, too. Yeah, man. Taiwan is amazing. I really enjoy the night markets there. When we were there, it's like here in America, like 9, 10 o'clock, you don't really go to the market anymore. In Taipei, it's common to go to the market at night. Very friendly people. So maybe 2 paths right here. Alright, we'll check this way first. Thanks, Meta. That's awesome, bud. Well, the way I'm always going to conduct myself as a gentleman and stuff, and we're always going to welcome people, and, we love to be visited and make new friends and stuff, and I never am nothing but grateful, We always treat everybody with respect in here. Very atmospheric game. So it looks like right about this point we're getting led by these candles. But who lit these candles? There's questions like, is our guy, is he dead? Is this a memory maybe from when he was on this island? He talks about the hermits of the island a lot. So it looks like this path just leads back around. I really like to explore a lot. And then there's a path maybe coming out of the cave over that way, back up this way. So this is the cave we came out of right here, but it looks like there's another cave over here. No, you know, I know that some of the moons of Jupiter have geysers, and the moons of Saturn, and they were talking about Enceladus the other day, potentially having oceans where there's no light, but and that Titan would have oceans of methane and stuff, which I was just like blowing my mind, you know. And they were saying, well, would water be the only medium that life could evolve in? Such an amazing universe out there. Been reading a lot of Einstein lately, and it's like it's like trying to read Einstein. I'm like, damn, I feel dumb. So it looks like in the end the paths lead back this way. Oh, okay. Capital of Central African Republic. Okay, see, so I was thinking of like, is that Congo or is that Sierra Leone or is that its
Fire
own
and
entity?
soil, I chose fire. It seemed the more contemporary of the options, the more sanitary.
I don't know on that one,
I
Nemesis.
could
You
not
got
bear the
me.
thought of the reassembly of such a ruin. Stitching arm to shoulder and femur to hip, charting a line of thread like traffic stilled on a motorway, making it all acceptable for tearful aunts and traumatized uncles flown in specially for the occasion. Reduce to ash, mix with water, make a phosphorescent paint for these rocks and ceilings.
That's a defibrillation machine, and that's like an operating tray. Definitely like, what? You know, it's an interesting thing on that, but I mean that there, you know, some of the biologists and stuff were speculating that, you know, in here on our planet there is life underneath the ice caps, you know, and there's life that, even though all things are based off the sun here, there's life living down at the bottom of the ocean, you know, so deep by geothermal vents being fed off of, you know, alkalis, and developing their own way of living off, like leaching literally out of the rocks the nutrients they need. I like the quote that Dr. Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, gives in Jurassic Park, where he says life will find a way. It seems that life finds a way. I think there's life out there in space. There's so much of it. Like, I mean, we're one little solar system in one tiny galaxy in a universe full of billions of galaxies. I mean, in the Milky Way alone, there's like 1 trillion stars. You know, it's ridiculous. Ah, Bangui. Yeah, no, you got me with that one. Hey, Adonis, how you doing, buddy? Just exploring Dear Esther here, which is...
diagrams on the mug he gave me coffee in, sticky at the handle where his hands shook. He worked for a pharmaceutical company with an office based on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. He'd been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter, forming a strategic
coffee's
vision
so
for the
good.
peddling of antacid yogurt to the European market. You could trace the connections with your finger, join the dots, and whole new compounds would be summoned into activity.
Let's see if we can read these. We've read a couple of them. Heaven? Okay, that said something from heaven. Okay. Light. Okay, so light from heaven shone. Light from heaven shone around him. Okay, so that's actually saying something. I can't believe I read it, but it's light from heaven shone around him. Interesting. I gotta say, you know, when I first put on Dear Esther, I was kind of confused by what type of game it is, but you know, the Chinese Room, they made that amazing game Everybody Looks Gone to Rapture, and it seems like they really try to make cerebral mind tug games.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic. And I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Like paper ships. Yeah, I think so too, bro. I'm starting to really think my guy's dead. On a sudden, a light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. No, it looks like we've ran. Look, there's a ship way out there floating. No, it looks like we've ran our course. Don't drown. All right. So we can only go out here so far. So it looks like now we're at a backtrack part. I think I see a path too going up the hill right there, and some marks on it. Oh yeah, right here. There it is. So we came around this way, but it looks like the path leads up this way towards that beacon. Well, you know, I mean, Mars exploration, I think we'll see that in the next 20 years. I mean, it seems to me like what they're gonna do is get to the point where they can build a spaceship in orbit, and that way it's much less fuel. It's much easier to launch stuff, say, from the moon or from orbit than to try to break Earth's gravity. To break Earth's gravity, you got to be traveling 7 miles a second, and that's a lot of rocket fuel.
For a few minutes as I struggled up the cliff path. I swallowed another handful of painkillers, and now I feel almost lucid. The island around me has retreated to a hazed distance, whilst the moon appears to have descended into my palm to guide me. I can see a thick black line of infection reaching for my heart from the waistband of my trousers. Through the fugue, it's all the world like the path I have cut from the lowlands towards the aerial.
A fugue state. Now, I believe Freud talked about a fugue state.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carts parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Looks like a path back that way to the right. What's this say? Andy was come near open. Yeah, words on the left and on the right. And it looks like a path back there to the right. Andy and he
If only
was
Donnelly had
3
experienced this,
days.
he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
It's like, was this like a monk that died of syphilis or like a hermit? And there was a path that looked like back to the right, maybe. If we can't go further this way. Which doesn't, for now, it seems that we can. Who lit the candles, you know? Let's check this up here.
Returning to my car afterwards, hands still shaking, and a head split open by the impact. Goodbye to tearful aunts and traumatized uncles. Goodbye to the phenomenal. Goodbye to the tangible. Goodbye Wolverhampton. Goodbye Sanford. Goodbye Cromer. Goodbye Damascus. This cliff path is slippery in the dew. It is hard to climb with such an infection. I must carve out the bad flesh and sling it from the aerial. I must become infused with the very air.
This game is definitely a mind ride, you know. Again, $7 and made by the Chinese Room guys. You know, their game Everybody's Gone to Rapture was such a thought-provoking game. I hope that comes to Xbox. It was amazing over on the PlayStation. Beautifully rendered and an interesting tale. I believe it's maybe a man at the end of his life. I love a game that makes me think, that it's not just, you know, I'll be thinking about this game, you know, after I'm done with it and be like, wow, you know. So many stars. Hey, baby young thug, how you doing, bud? Is this an indie game? Yeah, I would say it's an indie game, bro. I mean, the Chinese Room, they're pretty popular as a studio, but they're a smaller studio.
He was not drunk at all. He had not drunk with Donnelly or spat Jakobsen back at the sea. He had not careered across the lost shores and terminal beaches.
No,
of this
Tub,
nascent
I don't think this is a horror
He did
game,
not
bro.
intend his bonnet to be crumpled
And welcome
like
to the
a spent
broadcast.
Tissued by the impact. His windscreen was not star-studded all over like a map of the heavens. His paintwork etched with circuit diagrams, strange fish to call the gulls away. The phosphorescence of the skid marks lighting the M5 all the way from Exeter to Damascus.
With me. We're with me. That were with me. It says that were with me. No, Tope, I would say that this is, came into that were with me. I would say this is a mystery game, an explorative game. Very atmospheric. I've had no jumping, no punching, no killing, no kicking. Just simply walking and exploring this world that they created here. It's a $7 US retail on the price right now. Very very reasonable.
I have run out of places to climb. I will abandon this body and take to the air. Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We have always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
That was beautiful. It's like reading Tennyson, you know, or even Hemingway. Wild. Now it feels like kind of like we're flying. See the gull shadow flying? It's like he's a seagull now.
Come back.
Wow. Wow. So that was it. You know, just got a 200-point achievement off it. About 500 points for playing it this morning. It was about a 2-hour game, and Nigel Carrington did the voice work for it. The Chinese Room, there's their Chinese Room, Richard Count, Andrew Kershaw, Jessica Curry. So they're definitely like a little bit of a smaller studio. That was interesting, you know. I mean, I don't, you know, they do that really well. Like I remember with playing Everybody's Gone to Rapture, the same kind of like emotional ride. Well, hello, Wolf Crow 123. How you doing, buddy? And life's going good, Get O'Donnell. How you doing, bud? We're right here at the end of definitely was was special. Well, congratulations, man. I see you on Facebook flying your drones and stuff, and you always post cool stuff. Based on the 2007 mod by the Chinese Room, funded by the Arts and Humanity Research Council UK and developed at the University of Portsmouth, UK, Dear Esther was developed by the Chinese Room. Wow, I was pleasantly impressed by that. Well, friends, that's gonna. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tim Dubstep. We'll play another game in here today, and that's gonna bring us to the end of our Dear Esther broadcast. So we'll figure out something to come back on the air with and broadcast to you. I gotta say that was a pleasant experience. That was very enjoyable and very deep and very impressive. And shout out to the Chinese Room. That was like a mind ride. Again, it's always a pleasure to have you friends in the broadcast. If you'd like to follow our channel, it's 100% free to do. We will put this broadcast on YouTube. And, anytime you'd like to stop by our Twitch stream, we love to have you guys. Whether you've been here 1,000 times or it's your first time, we welcome you. And my name's Happy Chef Will. That's my gamer tag. I live to play video games. And that was a great experience. All right, Lab Doozy 7. Wow, man. That was like quite a mind ride. And again, about 2 hours long. Definitely cheese tastes good. Well, that's cool, Lab. I like cheese myself. All right, guys. Well, we'll go ahead and start up something else and definitely look back at Dear Esther in the future and stuff. And that was an interesting game.